Well, I'm so glad to have Dr. Ken Wilgus back with us today. He's a psychologist who specializes in working with teens and their families. I like that, not families and their teens. And frankly, he was quite instrumental in helping Jean and I think we called you Dr. Wilgus and asked you a couple of very important questions.
They were good questions.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. So we can speak from that experience that Dr. Wilgus helped us get through a little bumpy patch. He's written a great book called Feeding the Mouth That Bites You. Yes, that's right. Feeding the Mouth That Bites You. I love that title. A complete guide to parenting adolescents and launching them into the world. And he also has launched a weekly podcast with his two associates, and they're here with us today.
They are. We have Ashley Parrish and Jessica Pfeiffer with us. They're two moms who are actively raising kids. They speak and know firsthand what the teen issues are that we've alluded to.
I thought you were going to say they speak the teen language.
Oh, they do that too, of course. They're teen whisperers.
That's it.
No.
Well, to both of you, welcome to Focus.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Now, let's define that experience for the listener and the viewer on YouTube. So describe your kids.
So my youngest is 10, my oldest is 19. I have 4 kids. I have one in elementary, one in middle school, one in high school, and one in college. So I sort of spread myself thin over all the grade levels right now.
That's good. That makes you an expert, by the way.
I have 7 children. My oldest is a teenager. She just turned 14. Then I have an 11-year-old who's coming up on those preteen years, a 9-year-old, twin 6-year-olds, and twin 4-year-olds.
So, man, you have how many kids?
7
7 and 4, 11. Why are you here, Dr. Wilgus? We're just going to talk with them. And you, of course, have
3.
3. Okay, so
And
good.
6 grandchildren.
In 6th grade, so you are well qualified, and I think we're off to the races. Let's start with a quick review of what planned emancipation is and how it works.
Well, so Feeding the Mouth That Bites You started as a parent training that's really now become almost a crusade to really get across the necessity of finding an endpoint to your parenting. And if you really want to be effective with teenagers, that's what they want to know is when is this going to be over? When will you say it's time for me to make my own decisions about this thing? Planned emancipation is simply an orderly giving over of freedom rather than it being wrested out of your cold, dead hands, that they will get that freedom, but it is super important for teenagers to hear that these people who know me are saying, hey, we are now saying it's time for you to make that decision yourself. So planned emancipation is essentially the pattern from roughly 13 until you finish high school, that we as your parents are saying, this is the steps that you will take, the things that you will now be in charge of more and more as we recede from taking charge of these things in your life.
Now, I just want to make a pitch for Jean Daly, my wife, because she's probably given away 50 of your books, and I kind of want that
I've always
super
liked
buyer
Jean.
discount.
Yes, and
I'm
she
going
does
broke.
She qualifies for a set of steak knives, but
Good. Send those, will you?
yes,
I'm waiting.
it's very important.
But you have a word picture that kind of illustrates how teenagers see our authority as parents. Describe that word picture.
Well, it's really like foreign relations. Really, if you think about it, a teenager really begins to see themselves as their own person. Well, if that's the way they see it, then if you can picture your teenager like this nation state, divided into different sort of sub-states of different things they have to handle, schoolwork, friendships, money, all of these things. The hard part about this analogy is that if that's your teenager, then you are occupying troops in their territory. That's how teenagers feel. Mm-hmm. So if you think about their reaction, like how was school, fine, all that, that's the response of an occupied nation is what this feels like to many teenagers. And they really want to know, when are you going to be out of this part of my life? So the school management thing, when are you going to stop asking me and recognize that this is up to me? All those things. And so the goal of planned emancipation essentially is to begin to announce right off that we are in fact occupying these states of your life, but we are on our way out. So we are moving out of this part, and we are committed to leaving this sort of nation state that you are as a young adult, which is what teenagers are. We're committed to being completely out of your life and you managing this pretty much by the end of high school.
Well, the proof is in the pudding. So Ashley and Jessica, as you've applied Dr. Wilgus's approach, how has it worked? Jessica, let's start with you.
Okay. Well, I have a young teenager, and so I think we might have mentioned earlier about the music thing where she is able to pick whatever music she wants. But I don't have to
Wait. You gotta be kidding me.
I know. And it's hard because I've raised her to listen to almost exclusively Christian music.
To Amy Grant.
Yes, absolutely. We were talking about this morning. So, to be able to hand the reins over to her and allow her to choose is hard. But I have told her, she has a younger sister, she's not allowed to hear anything that's inappropriate and ungodly. I don't want to hear that in my home. And so she can put it on her earbuds or whatever else, but I'm not going to listen to it. She needs to have the responsibility and take the responsibility herself. Then I have older teens, though, and I've completely let go of a lot of areas. He's 19, he's in college. I don't have really much control at all in his life. And I think that there's stages along the way that are intermediate, of course, too. So it's hard, though, as a parent who really wants to be involved and likes a sense of control. This is a hard way to parent.
I'm going to come back to that in just a second, but Ashley, what's been your experience deploying the get out of Dodge strategy?
Well, it works. And so I think whenever you continue to use these strategies that Dr. Ken talks about, then you see the results and you see that your relationship isn't hindered, but it's growing. And there's a trust that your teenager is, your teenager is having a trust in you because you're recognizing them as a young adult.
Right.
And so it's just worked so well. The music was the first one for us as well. But there comes a time when we as parents need to realize that either we can hand over the reins in these areas or they're just going to do it behind our backs anyways. And it just goes so much better if we as their parents hand over that and they feel respected.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Versus them, like listening to it at their friend's house or,
It's the only place that they
and
can
then
do that.
they're hiding it, and then that just creates conflict.